I like buying used hardware and I like mechanical keyboards, so you think the two would fit naturally together, but I don't usually buy used mechanical keyboards because they're usually covered in the jizz of the teenager that owned them beforehand, and that's not fucking good. As an alternative, what I decided to do was scour Amazon, find the cheapest goddamn keyboard I could find, and tell you whether or not it's worth your money in my humble personal opinion. Today's piece of shit keyboard we're going to be reviewing is this Phoenix keyboard that doesn't have a model number or anything like that, and it cost me $45 tax and shipping in. Let's get the camera down on my desk and give it a look. Okay, folks, let's jump right in. First, I will say that after scouring Amazon, this was indeed the cheapest mechanical keyboard that they had advertised, but it would appear that Amazon, or Digiparts, which was the seller that was actually selling the thing through Amazon, is a dirty fucking liar. First of all, I'll post parts of the ad on the screen now so you can see exactly what they were claiming to have sold me. But as it turns out, this thing is not actually a mechanical keyboard. Now, it's not like a Cooler Master Memcanical hybrid where they have domes and these emulated sort of switches that are just meant to feel like a mechanical keyboard. No, it's not quite that bad. It actually does a pretty good job of feeling the part, but it's not strictly mechanical in that it seems to use some sort of weird-ass conductive or capacitive actuator. So anyway, it's not bad, it's just not truly mechanical. And in fact, if you look at the fucking book, it says it's made by Wellrui, not even Phoenix, and it's a mechanical feel gaming keyboard. So right out of the box, I knew that I had been lied to based on the product page alone. Anyway. I don't think the manufacturer was necessarily lying, but definitely the reseller was definitely lying through his teeth. So I will probably send this back and get my fucking $45 back, to be honest with you. So because it's not mechanical, it doesn't have true N key rollover as far as I know, but that might be a result of it being USB interface only. Speaking of USB interface, it has micro USB connector on this side, which is good. It is removable, but it's a little wobbly, which is bad. That's not good. You don't want your micro USB cable to wobble when it's in the slot. See my V60 Mini back here behind it that you can't see? Sits perfectly still, nice and firmly in there. That's not good, but it's a sign of a cheap keyboard anyway. The other end of the USB cable, I can't show you on camera. It's way too fine of a detail, but it looks like the connector, the Type A connector, has actually been crushed a little bit, so it was very difficult to fit in. Again, probably because it's fucking cheap and assembled by people that get paid peanuts to do it. So I don't know if I can really blame them all that much considering what I paid. And I will say that while there's no true N key rollover, I did test it for 6 keys at once, and it came out perfectly fine. You see a QWERTY appear on the screen every time I hit the QWERTY keys simultaneously, which is very good. It feels okay. It's not sticky. The keycaps are of reasonable quality given the price I paid. I cannot complain. They're lightly textured. They're a bit matte, I guess. I don't know if there's a different word for it, but they certainly have like a very fine eggshell texture, which is good. It's very sexy. It feels like I'm caressing a robot. Anyway, let's get to some of the other features. So we've got lighting on this thing. I haven't illuminated it yet because it's ugly as fuck, and I would never turn it on if I actually owned this thing and was going to use it. But let's just take a look at how she looks. So I've got my softbox lights turned off here so you can see it as best as I can possibly display it. But if you hit the function key and you hit insert, you'll get all the different lighting patterns that come up. They have this like sweep effect that can go on, and then we got like a side to side sort of like sandwiching, and then you got a circular. It just comes from the outside and goes in, and I don't know if you can really see that. Let's try and pull it up a little bit here. But it's not very impressive. It's not the brightest of lights, which is good because on the product page it looks fucking bright, and I would not buy it if it were actually that bright. And then we go through a nice wavy breathing thing, and then we got this is like a just like really bright and just comes across the keyboard periodically. I don't know when exactly, but it whenever you hit keys, that's actually kind of cool. I mean, I wouldn't do this regularly. This ain't my kind of thing, definitely. But that is nice. I guess it's kind of cool if you're playing like Audio Surf or something, one of those like rhythm games. Okay, so definitely a lot of lighting features, but the one lighting feature that it's missing, and if I just set the lights here to display constantly, you can get a better look of how they look, is that these fucking lights are all the same color in the given rows and they cannot be changed. So this is not an RGB keyboard. It forces upon you red, blue, orange, purple, green, and white in that order from the top down. And some of the lighting configurations that are not related to pattern are like this. So you can illuminate some of the keys like WASD and the arrows and whatnot. And there's like 8 different default configurations you can apply that will illuminate different groups of keys. But because the colors don't change, it's always weird and wonky looking. So it will illuminate the keys that you want it to illuminate, absolutely, but they will all be different colors based on the road that they're in, and I think it's just a little ugly and disorienting. And frankly, I don't know why anyone at all, ever, would decide to use a keyboard that was like always rainbow colored. Anyway, let's take off one of these keycaps and we'll see if I can bring the camera in and give you a good look at what it looks like underneath. And we'll talk more about the switches a little bit here. Let's pop off the escape key and maybe we'll turn the lighting off because that seems to be a prudent thing to do. So we'll do that. And yeah, there you go. You get a nice, right down here, you get a nice little view of what the switch looks like. Now, it looks very much like a mechanical switch on the surface, and if I were so keen to pull this out, which I don't think I can do, so I won't. I don't want to break anyway, because I'm going to turn it back. But you will see a switch that looks like this, and they send you 2 extra ones, I guess just in case it breaks, which is very nice of them. But if you look up close, you can see that it's clearly not a mechanical switch. So you've got your column in there with your plastic, clear plastic housing, and you've got the shaft thingy in the middle that's got a spring attached to it. Everything looks fine, but there's no stem on this like there would be with the mechanical switch, and it's not enclosed either. So if you put the spring down, and you're definitely not going to be able to see this, but if you do put the spring down, you see right in the center there of the spring, there's a little piece of metal, like a little metal coil. That's what makes people think that this is a conductive actuator, which makes sense, I guess, but that comes with all sorts of problems. It means that it's probably not really true N-key rollover, even if it weren't limited by the USB interface. Speaking of the accessories, now that I got them in my hand, it does come with a fairly detailed manual with some excellent English, if you like to be entertained by how Chinese translate into English. Let me read you a passage from the book. Hovering keycaps for fashionable looking and easy cleaning. Clear backlights and endurable keycaps by unique Gemini molding. Oh my. Stable signal transferring by cable with anti-interfere rings. Long lifespan of up to millions of typing. Clearly a foreign printed instruction booklet that's just been haphazardly translated by Google and put into a book form. But the accessories are nice. They come with a nice little brush here for cleaning. That's kind of cool. And then you got yourself a little fucking keycap puller here, which is also kind of cool. I like that. I mean, it's got to come with it, I guess. They can't gonna have you without a fucking keycap puller. And then you got your 2 extra switches in there, and you're all set and good to go. So really, can't complain about the cosmetics and the domestics of this keyboard too much. It's pretty good, not bad. And just in case you guys wanted in closing some actual silent, me not fucking talking my face off, raw footage of how it sounds, I'm gonna do my best to do some natural, proper typing for you right now. So in closing, let's not judge this product by Amazon and Digipart's mistake. Yes, it's completely mislisted and the product that I intended to order never showed up. And at that moment, I should have canceled this whole video in its entirety, but I was so impressed by the actual keyboard itself, despite it not meeting the expectations the ad had laid out, that I felt it was worth reviewing. And in truth, it's really not a bad keyboard at all. The pros are many. Keys feel right. 6-key rollover is fine, although it's not quite N-key. I've got no ghosting that I detected. The sturdy body quality was a big plus. It was really, really rigid and solid. Absolutely a plus there. The keys are consistent. There's no difference between them. Cons, there are definitely a few. The lighting sucked. The cable was a little bit shoddy, but still fully functional out of the box. The actuation force on these faux Cherry MX Black knockoffs is actually a little higher, I suspect, than their real, genuine counterparts. Couldn't do the nickel test because I think Canadian nickels actually don't weigh as much as American nickels. Even so, I've felt both before, and in my opinion, these felt a little heavier. So if you've got big, strong fingers, you'll like this particular type of keyboard, but luckily it comes with other switches. You just have to look for them. And lastly, The instruction manual was shitty, but all in all, for 45 Canadian dollars, it's really not that bad. So long story short, if you're a purist and you really need genuine mechanical switches, then obviously this is not the keyboard for you, but for 45 bucks, it is as close as I've ever seen one feel in my entire life, and I've done a lot of keyboard fondling. Oh, and I guess I have to have a rating system or something for this kind of review, so we'll call this one 4 dirty dicks out of 6 in a row. Anyhow, follow me on Twitter at OFA, and remember, Steam Curator, the Shitbox project, is up and running. Search it on Steam and find me and subscribe and follow. All of the entries into the Shitbox series will be included there. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.